The scent of decay clung to Oakhaven Manor like a shrub. Ethan, a quiet man whose youth seemed to have aged prematurely, had inherited the crumbling edifice from a distant, forgotten branch of his family. He sought refuge here, a solace from the clamor of the world, hoping to find inspiration amidst its spectral silence. The manor, a labyrinth of shadowed corridors and dust-choked chambers, spoke of generations of sorrow and unspoken secrets. It was in the deepest, most forgotten corner of the old master's study, behind a loosened panel in a magnificent oak mantelpiece, that he found it, a small, intricately carved cedar box, its surface worn smooth by the passage of countless, grasping hands. Within, nestled on faded velvet, lay 4 rings. Tarnished, yes, but undeniably beautiful. Each crafted from dark, aged silver, adorned with a single, unblinking black gemstone, cold as a winter's night. There was an uncanny symmetry to them, a peculiar resonance that hummed beneath his fingertips. And then, with a collector's instinct and a touch of the name, slipped the first ring onto his finger. It felt strangely heavy, a chill seeping into his bone. Then another, and another, until all 4 adorned his left hand, like grim, silent sentinels. A shiver, not entirely from the draft, traced its way down his spine. The whispers began subtly at first, like the rustling of dry leaves just beyond the window pane, or the soft settling of the ancient house. But soon, they grew more distinct, weaving themselves into the fabric of his thoughts. Not words, precisely, but a mournful cacophony of sighs and longing, a symphony of despair that echoed in the empty halls and, more disturbingly, within his own mind. He found himself inexplicably drawn to the manor's oldest mirror, its mercury-silvered surface clouded with age. Staring at his reflection, he saw not only himself but fleeting, ghostly distortions veil, ethereal figures flitting behind him, their faces obscured by sound. They moved with a languid grace, their phantom hands reaching, always reaching. Sleep became a torment. He dreamed of women clad in antiquated gowns, their eyes hollow pools of agony, their voices a chorus of lamentation that pressed upon his sanity. He awoke to the tangible chill of phantom breath on his skin, the faint, sweet scent of long-dead lilies, and the unnerving certainty that he was no longer alone. His energy dwindled, his skin grew ashen, and a persistent, aging melancholy settled deep within him. He tried to remove the rings, but they clung to his fingers with an unnatural tenacity, as if their cold metal had fused with his very flesh. His art, once vibrant, now bore only shades of charcoal and deepest indigo, depicting spectral brides and desolate landscapes. Driven by a gnawing fear that was rapidly eclipsing his reason, Ethan delved into the manor's forgotten archives, dusty ledgers, and brittle journals. He unearthed a grim tale. Centuries ago, the manor's master, a cruel and capricious nobleman, had enticed 4 young women into a series of false vows, abandoning each to despair before their own tragic, desperate ends. Before their demise, their combined anguish had woven a curse into a set of rings, gifts from the Lord, which they had clung to even in their final moments. The spirits of these wronged women, bound to the rings, had ever since haunted Oakhaven, seeking a new host, a new vessel for their undying sorrow, a final, unholy union. The rings were not mere adornments. They were anchors, drawing the vengeful specters closer, slowly claiming his essence. The apparitions became bolder, their translucent forms solidifying in his waking hours. He saw them standing at the foot of his bed, their vacant eyes fixed upon him, their lips moving in silent, agonizing pleas. He heard their names whispered in the dead of night, not by them, but by a voice that was eerily his own. He was becoming one of them, a living testament to their despair, a new groom for their eternal torment. Panic, cold and sharp, finally pierced through the shroud of melancholia. He had to sever the connection, to cast off the rings, to break the curse. He remembered an old, forgotten tale from one of the journals, a crumbling chapel, consecrated ground long since abandoned, where ancient rites of burial had taken place. It was the only place, the writings hinted, where anything bound by such dark vows might find release. With the last vestiges of his will, his body shaking with unnatural chills and tremors, Evan stumbled through the overgrown grounds of the manor, towards the skeletal remains of the St. Jude's chapel. The air grew heavy, thick with unseen presences. The whispers intensified, becoming a piercing shriek of protest as he neared the decaying altar. Shadows wreathed around him, coalescing into the indistinct, reaching forms of the four women. Their spectral hands clawed at him, tearing at his clothes, attempting to impede his progress, to pull him back into the manor's depths, to claim him for their own. He could feel their coldness, their desperate grip, an unbearable weight on his soul. With a guttural cry, he wrenched the rings from his fingers, a searing pain lancing through his hand as they finally detached. He flung them onto the broken stone of the altar, where ancient blood stains seemed to bloom anew. A silent, violent tremor shook the chapel, and the whispers died, replaced by a sudden, profound emptiness. But even as the silence descended, Ethan felt the chill deeper than anything he had known. The silence wasn't peace. It was a vacuum, the absence of the spirits replaced by the terrifying, chilling realization that a part of them, their sorrow, their enduring despair, had seeped irrevocably into him. He was free of the rings, perhaps, but their mark, the weight of those severed vows, would forever cling to his soul, a cold, indelible echo in the desolate chambers of his mind.